Hey, Steve Zonardo here with Treviso North Realty. I want to talk about a few things, just where the market's at, how we're doing, and cautionary tales going forward, and what we're experiencing right now with the calls that we're getting. We've carried a lot of listings, most in my career, to be honest. At some point, we're well over 20, 25, maybe more. Sometimes, I think around, even when we had the builders, well, maybe 30, 35 listings we were carrying at one point. So there was a ton of inventory we were carrying. And what that does, even for a listing agent like myself and Mike, because Mike was taking the brunt of this, is puts a lot of stress on you. Because if you really care about your job and you care about your clients, their property not selling gives you added stress. It's almost, if you're a sociopath and you can kind of put it and you can bury it, that's kind of the best way to be in any business. But ultimately, if you really care about your clients, you want to make sure you're getting them top dollar. You know it's their largest, investment that they own. They need every dollar to come at it, or it weighs on you. So it's been a year of definitely weight, because ultimately you want the best for your clients. This is why we always have a great retention rate with our past clients, because we always do the right thing. We always tell the truth. Every listing presentation we go into, we don't play it off like, we're some magical creature that's going to just wave some magical dust on the property it's going to sell. We present the facts, we present the economics, and we present the outcome. So it's not like we're going in there and bullshitting the process, because that's easy. To bullshit, I can light anybody up. If I want to really light somebody up, I can light them up. But it's not the purpose, because what you're doing is you're letting them down before you even sign a contract. So you're not being genuine and authentic. So tell the truth up front. If they like the truth, if they're on the same page, then you can go to war with your clients, because ultimately you've presented everything and away you go. And what we're presenting clearly is, and a lot of clients are not appreciating it too much, where it's like the values of their property are not where they were in 22. We lost one client. It's a sad story. Husband passed away. I guess he did most of the finances, but she's just making one bad decision after another. And, for value, I had a quick conversation. And it was like coming across very confident that the market is where it was at the height of the market. This is 3 years after basically the crash of 2022. So you're going to lose about 20% off the value. And that's where we presented it, where this is the current value, this is where you're at. And then ultimately purchasing without notifying us, because this is not a past client, but a referral. I wish they would have communicated with us, because then they overpaid for another home in the community. So now their house lost 20-30% that they originally thought was higher. So this property was maybe like $500,000 to $600,000, and then they paid about 20% higher than what they should have in the property. You kind of see they lost almost $1 million off of that. So their bank account has a $900,000 less than what they thought it would have had. Let's just say if everything was in their mind. But you present this. They're not, it's pushed back, and they don't like it, and then they get second, third opinions, and then someone will go in there and bullshit them and say, yeah, don't worry, we're good, we're going to be at, at this certain price, it's going to be a great thing, don't worry about it. And then obviously when they leave, they already know, they call their assistant or their team's like, okay, we got to get them on a price adjustments drip. Every 30 days we're going to drop this property $200,000 until it gets sold. Why? Because there's motivation there, they need to close. Like, it's very easy to take advantage of people. It's so easy. Like, you find the urgency, the motivation, and then you can kind of prey on them. But I'd rather give you the information up front, know where you're at, so we can play on the same playing field. This is, again, some other clients that we've been ringing this bell since 2022. Clearly, dump your investment properties. If your brick and mortar is going to depreciate, there's no point of holding a depreciating asset. Pull your money out, stop the bleed, and then buy back when the market kind of gets to a lull period, which we're nowhere near. If you think that this is the end of the depreciation of properties in Canada, you got to read a little bit more, and you got to look at economically. You can't just look at the Prime Minister of Canada. You got to look at all the leaders in the country and just the messaging through everything, and just what Canada looks like for the future. You see, Canada right now is on a European train, basically. They're following the Europeans. If you look at Europe, we've always romanticized. Look at this. We're background's Italian, clearly. Our parents left Italy to come to North America for a better life. Amazing. We always romanticize about Italy and say, oh, they have the great life, they have this great social life, they go have a coffee, they have a cafe, and in the cortile, in the courtyards, and in the piazzas, and it's like, wow, the food, the culture. But they got nothing. They don't own anything. They have nothing. Their existence is basically just existing. I was having a conversation with a client yesterday about this. Yeah, we romanticize that. That's bullshit. North America is where it's at, and Canada's kind of finishing off where the dream of ownership of homes and white picket fence and the whole thing. It's ending. So that's why United States looks like the best option for anybody right now. No, you shouldn't have sore feelings about this. You just got to look at this economically. But then you look at. So they have a great life, social life. But when I was down there, it wasn't the case. People had to go to work. We went to bed at 8:30, 9 p.m. at night because people got to go to work in the morning. I'm partying until 11, 12 o'clock at night and got to do a full job tomorrow. That's a myth. It's just a myth. So, we got to look at that. We're blessed to kind of be born in North America and given this life. And what's the goal for the future is to better the next generation. And that's why I'm talking about investment properties. Look at the investment properties. Once these properties start becoming a liability and depreciating assets, you gotta detach from emotion on these things. You gotta get away from it. It's not a family member. You didn't birth it. It's just bricks and mortar. If the brick and mortar is not appreciating, if it's not paying down, if it's not a mortgage pay down and not generating passive income, it's not your friend anymore. That's basically it. You're going to have to move on. And the whole point of investing is to move your money into something that's going to make more money. So you always got to keep your money working, because if it's not working, it becomes fat and lazy and doesn't amount to anything. So that's the whole point. Keep moving the money in order to make this transaction or to keep that money moving. Why are we doing this? One, retirement, clearly. Two, it's for the children. You want to better our next generation. You want to give them assets to kind of move forward, better their lives, where they have let's say, we started off at a zero meter line out of a 400 meter sprint or whatever it is. You're going to give them to 100 meters and they have 300 meters of sprint, and maybe their kids are at the 200 meters. You know what I mean? You want to give them a little bit more tools to work with going forward. But the reality is, Canada right now in homes and depreciation, we may not have anything to pass on to our children. That's what's even more scary, because I was talking to Mike about this yesterday. Look at this. In real estate, you're making high income. Clearly, if you're really good at your job and you're consistent and you're compulsive and you work nonstop, you can make a lot of money. And you look at the whole process. If I've never purchased any real estate from 2013 on, like when I started, anything, my dreams would not be possible. Either it's my Porsche, living in the States, having multiple rental whatever it is. We're living pretty decently. We're not rich, but we're doing okay. And if we never bought real estate doing this and then sacrifice, instead of buying a pool, instead of spending money here or going to these crazy restaurants or whatever it was, we always allocated cash onto investments. The money always has to be working. And after you made a big, you got like literally, this is how much money you make a year, this comparable, this is what's left. That's what's left for investing. It's hilarious. I guess it's obviously, it could even be this. It could be like a little espresso shot, that's what's left. So this is how much money you make, and that's what's left at the end. So if that's a good analogy. And that's what happens. That little shot of espresso, you got to put it in to make more of a punch. So you're making your espresso turn into, let's do some arts and crafts here. Your little espresso shot turns into a big mug of coffee at some point. And this is what we need to do with investing. And that's why we're advising clients, unload your properties, sell them out, move them into the States. The lease right now, we're buying properties on the lift. So we buying these properties at 260, 270,000. We get them appraised at 305,000. The bank appraisal, third party, we have no interference with it. We're buying them 10 to 15% already on the lift on this. And then we look at the actual resale values, they're at, let's say, 330. So we're making about 23 to 25% lift right off the top. These are, again, the numbers are not massive like we were, up north, where it was like $500,000 appreciation. But I'm looking at a percentage form, because you can make volume here. The whole goal is to retire happily, having 20 properties, making $450,000 a year in passive income. That's the goal. We can do it here because the price of the houses kind of stay relatively low, and the appreciation is 3, 5, 7, 10%, whatever it is. We don't get those big jumps. COVID, it did clearly, but now hopefully life settles in and we don't have those massive jumps anymore. That's the whole point. Sell those depreciating assets, lock your money into something that's going to appreciate, and just kind of sit tight and go forward from there. Another cautionary tale is clients now call in after a year later when we do, compare to market analysis. We've been ringing this bell, sell these properties. It's only going to get worse. Let's get going here. Like, just pull out your money. I'll give you one case now. It's like last year, the property is worth like 980 at the low point and maybe $1,060,000 at the high point. So that's a nice $80,000 spread. Again, market was kind of shifty, so we couldn't get a full like indication, but we would expect over $1 million. We're, like 1060 would be at the best case scenario. 980 would be your worst case. If you can plan for that, we're hoping for like a mid range here, like a 1020. So ultimately, we'd advise not this client, but multiple, because we're getting all these calls simultaneously right now from different clients. Like, they're all sort of connected. I guess they're watching the market keep decreasing. But, the confidence last year was it's going to get better. It's Canada. Don't worry about it. And you can't look at that. When we present information, we're based it on facts and economics, and then we're giving you an outcome at the end. Why it's going to come out like that? It's a very logical reason. We're not getting into too much, scientific diagrams here. It's very like layman's terms why this will happen. So it's not too complicated for anybody to understand. And now this property, you got to think, when you don't list your property when it's worth a certain amount of money and it's a year later, the market doesn't freeze for you. Doesn't mean that's going to be your lowest point and it's going to freeze for you 12 months later. You got thousands of buyers, or sellers rather, during this period that are going through, we don't know. Is it marital problems? Is it financial stress? Is it move up, move down, whatever it is? If you get a few desperate sellers in there, which clearly that's what the market's going to provide right now, in a lot of cases, especially in this particular area, you're going to get low prices because they just want to get these things off the market, cash out, and then move on with their lives. People don't want to deal with the pain. So now you got sales, like 5 or 6 sales between 800 and 850,000. So guess what now? That's your new range. Between 980 to 1060 was here. 850 to 850 is where you're at now. Just because if you own a property, you did a new kitchen and stuff like that, whatever, like some renovation, it's going to bring it a little bit up, but it's not going to be like that massive where it's going to hold you at a different standard from the past. So just be cautious with that as well. If you don't, again, you can't have the confidence like we're just going to hold it. You can't think like that, because you're not going to be passing on any equity to your kids. So we got to we all got to become adults, and we got to look at this like an adult and say, if we lose any more money, this is literally stealing it out of my children's pocket. I think that's the extreme level you need to look at things in order to make decisions quickly, because we always take things for granted and say, oh, it's going to be fine, we're going to be good. If you see these economic outcomes that we've just actually produced and we put them online based out of the Atlas Group, like that's the first that is the first report, like a detailed report, exactly what I was talking about in 2022. And it's the first time it's reported, because we've had mixed signals from everything. If you want to get bad information, listen to the economists in Canada, or listen to the banks' economists, or their strategic thinkers in their banks. Like Benjamin Tal with CIBC, I don't know where he's at now. My whole career since 2010, literally whatever he said, you do the opposite, you're going to do well. Just bet it on the opposite. You're going to make 100% of your money every time, because it was always wrong. And then this year we heard from RBC, I think it was, that this is going to be a fantastic market. It's going to pick up. We're going to be great. You got to remember, like there's nobody wants to create panic if you're holding bad debt. You want to make sure you kind of like have strategic things in place. You need time to kind of build strategic plans in order if something were to happen. So you're not going to create panic. So that's what scares the shit out of me more. It's almost like the Titanic. When you watch the movie, they still had the violin players as playing as the ship is clearly going underwater, right? So just pay attention to that. That Atlas Group report, if you want it, just text me. We'll send it to you. It's literally the scariest thing, but also what we've been predicting for quite a while now. So it's sad, but it's cemented everything I said, made everything I was talking about very concrete. And remember, this report is basically viewed by the people that move money into Canada and move money around Canada. So these are all the developers, the builders. This is the outcome for jobs. Everything's associated with this. So if this report's written like this, it's pretty scary. You should all read it and kind of understand it, and then kind of make decisions for that going forward. But this is a long-winded one. I really want to get a message out there today. If you have any questions, please reach out. We'd be happy to chat with you. Book strategic calls We'll book a strategy session, how to get your property sold, where do you move your money if it is an investment, or sell your property now, and what's the best scenario for you and your family to kind of capitalize. Because that's the whole point. Our webinars, survive or thrive, and that's the whole point. Because you can thrive in any market as long as you strategically look at it and plan for it. You'll be fine. But that's pretty much it for today, guys. Have a great day. Bye bye.